I am really an independent. Like when somebody say like, I'm really an independent,
Most
and
of the independent people who run are independently wealthy.
yes, and that was all about. That's what I was about to say.
And
Like,
so they still have that capital and the
well,
network
I
with the
have.
capital.
I mean, I have money, but I don't have like political super PAC money. But I'm already known, so that does help. Like I'm already known. I'm kind of like, so if I run and like I'm real known in Detroit. So like let's say I move back to Michigan and I run for a congressional seat in Michigan, like I can win that shit. I can win Detroit mayor if I'm serious. Like if I wanted to
Just
become
not
the mayor.
legally. You'd have to go there.
What you mean? Oh, from you saying from here?
Yes. I'm saying don't tell on yourself. Don't have an Atlanta address and then run the
Oh
campaign up
yeah. I
there.
mean, yeah, I can. I would literally have to move there or whatever.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like I know what I'm doing and I can win. I can win a congressional seat like Congress. I can win. I don't know about the Senate. That's like, whew, you gotta have that bread. But I think I could.
Yeah, it's a totally different situation. You're talking, what, 6 years versus 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Then,
then the
then
Senate,
there's only
their
two.
votes,
Yeah,
their votes really matter. Like
there's
that
only
should
two,
be
regardless of how big the state is.
right.
Yep.
So
So
now
the
you competing
volume is
against.
down.
Yeah, you competing against the entire state. That's a tough one.
But I think if you have aspirations, you absolutely should do it because ultimately it's really about adding value and winning the people over and serving your community. Technically, that's what, politicians are supposed to be, public servants. They're not always, but they're supposed to be.
I mean, I don't even think it's possible to serve the public. I mean, because you're funded by, like, basically they should just take away. You should just. But even if you do it like,
No. Rewind. Say
even-
it.
but
I want
even
to
if
hear
you-
you say it because I think you're
but,
onto something.
but I was gonna say they should just take away like the ability to just do the super PACs and donate. But that mean all the rich people would just steal because if I'm already rich, well, I could just run my own ads and campaign and I'm.
But
a
it's
win.
different. It's different. Like rich people don't put up their own money for the campaign. They don't.
Yeah.
Even if they have it, they don't.
It don't make sense.
They don't because it's a huge risk. Like if you don't, if you don't. In fact, it's the opposite. If you really want to know, what happens is that people get the donations for the campaign, and if they're smart, they'll budget the campaign where they'll have money left over.
Of course.
Right? So you don't even want to spend every dollar of your campaign by the end of it because if you don't win, you're cooked. Yeah, you have to have something to bounce back on. And so that's, so it's not a situation where people spend their own money. They're still getting money from other people and then hoarding that. So take the super PACs away. Sorry. I don't think that there should be able to be,
billionaires just donating $100 million.
Come on, we're perpetuating the same thing over and over. That's why we don't have anybody to represent the people.
Yeah. All right, let's get it in, man. Let's get it in. I'm gonna cut some of that, but I think we had some good conversation in there. But I definitely want to use some of it, but I don't know if I want to use all of it.
Okay, you want to cut into an.
All right, guys, welcome back. Listen, this is episode number 3, and we've been getting a whole bunch of feedback. I don't know if people hitting you up, but a lot of people been hitting me up online, saying, "Hey, man, you got to keep this going. This is fire. I love this," and they say they love the co-host. I'm like, listen, you got to go show her some love. Like,
thank you.
People be nervous. They know me, so they just be reaching out to me. But I don't know if they reached out to you yet. But they're gonna start because I'm gonna continue to push them over there and tell them to rock with you. But
please do.
we got a lot to talk about. We was talking about a few things offline, and I want to start with this one, man, because this was the black community is such hypocrites. I talk about this all the time, but the black community is such hypocrites. And we made a post where the child star prodigy from the boy band Mindless Behavior. If you guys don't know what Mindless Behavior is, or the boy band, Mindless Behavior, what was their hit song, man? The hit song was oh my God, I have to look.
They had so many. All I remember them for is being like the predecessors to B2K.
Right. They was like after B2K fizzled out, then they came in and had their little moment.
Mm-hmm.
So since 2009 to around 2012, 13, they were hot, and then they fizzled out. The guy Prodigy actually left in 2013, came back in 2014 to the Mindless Behavior, and then left in 2015. After he left in 2015, he started a solo career and he's been just trying to figure out his path. Well, recently it went viral on TikTok that he is working at Amazon right now after being a child star and having all this global success, being on the record labels, touring, merch, whatever. And we made a post about it. We say, "Oh, Prodigy from Mindless Behavior working at Amazon." Like, and a girl was like, "Oh, my cousin works with Prodigy or whatever." They cussed us out in the comments. They said, "Oh my God, y'all posting up. At least a black man got a job." And I'm just like, for one, damn, we can't report the news. That's literally what we do is report news.
Right.
And then they like, y'all trying to be funny, tearing him down, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, damn, man. Like, if you post somebody else, like a rapper, if you post that rapper got a job, people be, he fell off. Oh my God, whatever, whatever. But then we post him that he got a job, and now they're like, at least he trying to surprise, work and have an honest living. And I'm just like, okay, what's your thoughts on that? You've been in the entertainment industry longer than I have. You've seen the ups and downs of the entertainment. I know you've seen people be hot, then people be broke, people balling, they got Rolexes, and then they homeless. Like, you done seen it all. So what's your thoughts on the child star Prodigy from the boy band Mindless Behavior seemingly going broke and have to work at Amazon, working a regular job, considering he was a childhood star and someone, that we all loved their music and their art they created?
I think that's, I'm never surprised when I see somebody who is famous or was famous working a regular job. When you think about people's rise to fame, it's different than being able to consistently keep that fame. We don't know a lot of people who have been in the game strong for a decade, what,
Like
Jay-Z,
Keke Palmer.
Beyonce, you know what I mean? Like, most child stars are crashing out. And I don't even mean that in a bad way,
Yeah.
I think Keke Palmer is really lucky and dope that she had her mom to manage her and to be in her life.
Well, she came out and said she went bankrupt at 18.
Right.
So,
Which
and
I'm
then
not
they had
surprised.
to start over, but her mom did help her and they got
Yeah.
back on their feet.
Because honestly, getting an influx of sudden money in large amounts, unless it's something that's going to consistently be happening for the long term, if you don't budget, you're going to go broke. And that's just a matter of fact, So I feel bad for him and anybody else who's in the spotlight. I know it can be incredibly difficult to go from being in the spotlight, and being perceived to be rich and famous to
Yeah.
working a regular job. I think that a lot of people crash out, become homeless and all this stuff because they don't want to go get they don't want to go get a real job. They don't want to get clowned, especially in the social media age. Look what they did to I can't even remember his name, but the guy that used to play Alvin on the Cosby Show when he was working at Trader Joe's. And,
Okay, yes.
he went viral and then 50 gave him that one job. And from what I hear now, he's back at Trader Joe's. But why wouldn't he be if he's
so he's
not?
back at Trader Joe's in 2025, like
Yeah,
right now?
Yeah, now he's back
Well,
at Trader
okay,
Joe's.
I had a problem with him, right? Okay, I don't know if you've seen this interview. He did an interview, okay? He talked about how so many celebrities reached out to him and tried to give him money. Nicki Minaj was one of the ones. Nicki sent him $25,000. Do you know this man, Ego? He said he went and donated that money because she gave it to him because it was all in the headlines as like a donation, and he didn't want to accept donations. He would have rather her gave him a job, like, hey, come act in this film, come do this music video, come do this, come do that, and then earn the 25,000. So he is his ego wouldn't even allow him to accept the 25,000. And I said, well, that's why you're working at Trader Joe's, because that's dumb. That's like, I don't care what nobody say, like, that's dumb.
He's a man, though, and I think it's hard sometimes for men who want to bring value, add value, want to feel like they worked for their accomplishments, worked for what they have. I mean, it's probably hard for him. But I do think it's really cute that people came to the defense of Prodigy in your comment section.
Oh, yeah, they cussed us out.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, it has to do with that generation. That generation is actually a little more down to earth, I feel like, than older generations. I feel like older generations, we're ready to dig our heels in. We're ready to clown somebody. But I do feel like with each new generation, they become a little bit more and more understanding of inflation and the prices out here, and money is not easy to come by. And so I think that's really cute that they were coming to his defense, and I'm glad that he, is handling his business and has a job. But child stars, man, they don't even get to keep their money. A lot of their money is spent before they even turn 18,
Right. So
21.
you have a child. Would you allow your child to be a childhood star entertainer if they had like these ambitions and were getting real opportunities? We're not talking about just you just make a few TikToks. I'm saying like, you got Hollywood producers asking like, hey, can we put your child in this film or this short or these music videos? What would you say?
Yeah, if my child naturally wanted to do it on their own,
They had the talent.
and they had the talent and they had what it took, I would do everything I could do to support them from a professional standpoint. And then I would do everything I could do to protect them from a parental standpoint, because the
Facts.
industry is ruthless on adults. I mean, adults are crashing out behind the entertainment industry. So,
Yes.
it's times 10 when it comes to kids. They're so vulnerable in such a predatory industry and environment. So, I mean, I wouldn't want that for my kid. But if that's really what they wanted to do, I would do what I could do to support, to support my kid. But I really don't think that the entertainment industry is a place for kids, period.
Yeah, the entertainment industry isn't a place for anybody with a weak mind, and kids by the nature have weak minds because they haven't had those years of experience that allows you to develop thick skin and not be manipulated and know when somebody's trying to violate you versus when somebody's just being nice to you or when somebody being rude to you. Like the differences, but when you 9 years old,
And they want to make people happy, right?
yeah,
So, like, to even have that type of personality to want to do entertainment at such a young age,
you have to be a
people pleaser. You're
Yeah.
already in the mode. You want to make your parents proud. How did I do? I did the audition. How did I do? Did I do good? In front of the coaches that are helping you, did I do good? How am I doing? Am I doing okay? A lot of times kids are acting with grown adults and they've got to be there for 10 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, whatever is allowed for kids.
Right.
They're expected to memorize lines toe to toe with, adults. They're expected to go hard like adults.
Right.
And yeah, I think that a lot of times they don't want to disappoint people. A lot of times their family is depending on them for, financial well-being. So many child stars are literally taking care of not only their immediate family, but like their extended family. You got
Yes.
uncles and aunts that are like, let me borrow this and let me have
I
that.
have a friend who he owns a company called Word and Vision. He told me about how when he had to be like 6 years old, he got into a Levi commercial. Commercials used to pay big back then because that's all you had was your commercials on TV. Because 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones and social media and all of that. And he said at probably 6 or 7 years old, he made like $100,000 from a commercial. He was taking care of his whole family, giving all his friends, like he was paying people to be his friend because he was a little kid, he didn't know, and they were so jealous of him because every night it comes on the TV, and when they're
Right.
watching sports, he come on there, and they was jealous of him, even though he's like, hey, I'm just regular, just like y'all, and then like, he said that taught him a lot about money early. I mean, he's a millionaire now, so because he got his brand and all of that, but like, even then, like, you make this money and people think you have so much more money than you really have, but then when they do have your money, they feel entitled to your
Oh,
money.
yeah. They don't even know how that money spends. They don't know how it's even coming into the situation. Like,
Let me ask you this. Okay, as someone who have the skills to do behind the camera, with your producing and everything you do, and on the camera with your personality and acting and just being a media figure, how do you balance deciding what to do in media, what to do for money, what to do for free, when to take an opportunity? Because I feel like the entertainment industry is real good on providing opportunities, and there's no real clear way of monetizing it or helping you. But because it's Hollywood and it's Lionsgate or whoever, Disney, now you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna run and jump at this opportunity without developing skills in the process. And then when they let you go and you're on your own, you're in a solo career, now you have no skills to even be in the entertainment industry and be behind the camera. So like, how did you even balance that and deciding to even go behind the camera sometimes instead of, keep pushing and being on camera?
Because the work is behind the camera. Everybody wants to be talent.
Everybody.
So much competition. And being talent is very fleeting.
Yes.
You're going to go on 50 auditions. If you're lucky, you might get one or two of those roles. So it's not consistent. The money is not consistent. They're aware of the fact that everybody wants to be on air or on screen.
Right.
And so they leverage that to not compensate and pay people fairly. Also, when you're just a talent, you kind of lose 100% control over the way that you're portrayed. Whereas if you know a little bit of production, even when you're talent, you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. How they try to paint you as mean, or they try
They'll
to paint
play you a certain way. Different things are happening.
Yeah.
You don't know why. I think right now, especially like with black actors and actresses, a lot of the old school actors and actresses that are still around right now that are relevant, it's because they're doing behind the scenes stuff. So we see Megan Good, right? Like, she's still an actress,
Yeah.
but with all due respect, like, big, huge billion-dollar blockbuster productions are not checking for Megan Good. Megan Good is continuing to work because Megan Good is actually a writer. She's actually a producer.
Yeah, she's
She's
like
a
directing
director.
films now. Yeah.
All that. So a lot of the projects that you even see her in as the main actress, if you look at the credits, she's also in the credits as a producer.
Yeah.
Same thing with Marcus Houston. Same thing with even Lorenz Tate. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many of our old school actors that watch some of these movies when you watch them on Amazon and Netflix and stuff. Look at the credits.
Tubi, all these, yeah.
They're in the credits because
Yeah.
they're the lady, what's her name, from the Steve Harvey show, the one that was Cedric's girlfriend, boss lady.
Oh, yes.
I can't even
yes,
know.
I know-
Terry. Her name is Terry. I hate that her full name is escaping me at the moment.
I know you're talking
But
about.
wonderful actress who started directing and working behind the scenes, and now she's done movies with DC Young Fly and Ernestine Johnson, like tons of people. Even
Yeah.
T.I. is like directing, movies. Look at 50 Cent. So I think people know the real money is behind the scenes, unless you're in the top 1% of, actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Then you're definitely going to be getting your coin. But outside of that, there's just no guarantee. So I think that hard skills is something that's harder to come by. So
do
I
you
try to
know
balance.
Have you ever seen Blood Diamond?
Yes.
You know the main actor.
I was about to call him. I'm sorry. Jimon Hinsu.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you see his quote? He came out and said he's basically struggling financially. He's like basically, I'm broke. Like, I mean, he's doing better than a lot of other people. So broke to him might be he make $200,000 a year, but his bills are $200,000 a year, and he don't have no money.
Right.
Yeah, he came out and said he's broke, and everybody's like, how? But what people don't understand, and maybe you probably know this, I'm sure you do, but for one, he's from he's from Africa. So a lot of international actors will do American movies, especially black, because a lot of these white films, they just need a black person. You don't have to be. They don't say I need an African American. I need somebody from America. They don't care. They'll get him, or they're gonna get
They need the
Tyrese,
cast type.
right? You know what I'm saying? They don't care, right? So a lot of the African actors will come just for an opportunity, just to get famous, and they'll work for a lot less. So even all these big films he has been in, he's always played that African actor that I'm gonna just take this and try to parlay this into something else, and basically it never really parlayed into the career financially that he wanted. So now he's up in age. He's still relevant, but not really, because you got a lot of people under him that saw the play and is doing it again and replicating it. So he even came out in the interview and said, like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing really well financially, and that don't mean he in the food stamp line.
But according to his lifestyle and what he has
Yeah.
going on, yeah, he's struggling.
Because I mean, actors can make $300,000-400,000 a year, and that's like they're struggling
Yep.
because they got, like you
They
said,
live in $1 million house.
you
Their
live in
mortgage is $10,000 a month.
your mortgage $10,000 a month. You can't drive a Kia. No, you got to drive a Lexus. You got to drive a Range Rover. You got to drive a G-Wagon. Your kids, your dad's on Hollywood Films. Oh, well, we got to put them in private school. I can't put them in Compton. I can't put them in the high school in Compton. You see what I'm saying? So, like, all of this starts to add up. Oh, I need security. Like, people know I stay here. I need to secure my home. They're breaking in these celebrities' houses. So, like, people hear celebrities say, like, I'm broke, I don't have no money, and they don't really have sympathy for them because they're famous, and they just think like, well, if I was in Baby Boy, Taraji,
You might be broke too.
you know what I'm saying? People say stuff like that, like if I was in Baby Boy, I'd do this and I'd do that, and it's like, it sounds good in theory, but man, it's hard to be in entertainment, man. And then don't nobody want to be an entertainment lawyer. They don't want to be the accountant. They don't want to be the guy behind the like.
Because those people are getting paid. They're getting accolades.
They get
they're
paid
getting
no
awards.
matter the project work or not.
They're at the award shows. They get the awards too. They get all that.
They get paid no matter if the budget is $100 million. Their money comes from that budget, not from the box office sales like the other actors.
Yeah, and I'm not discouraging anyone from trying to be talent if that's what where your passion lies, but just always learn skills to make yourself useful.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough in entertainment. Let's switch to the NBA. The National Report Card. Every year, they have a test that all the eighth graders and all the fourth graders have to take. And this test measures reading comprehension. This test measures mathematical skills. It measures like history. They say the math was up 2 points from its high in 2019. That's good because the last 4 or 5 years it struggled because of the pandemic. They say reading is down, and 1/3 of eighth graders score below basic reading assessments. As someone who's put someone through school, what do you even tell parents? Is it the parents' fault because the parents are the first ones to introduce your child? You can teach them reading, whatever, homeschool, while they go to school. Is it the teacher's fault? Is it the policy? Like, what do we even do to address this issue? Because our kids literally can't read.
Right. They stopped teaching. Do you know what grade they stopped teaching reading at?
No.
3rd.
So you mean reading like the basics of reading, and then like they expect you to know how to read from 4th grade on up?
Correct. So if you don't know how to read by the 3rd grade, you're cooked. And so what happens is that at the 3rd grade level, if you can't read, your teacher has 2 options. They can either look away.
No child left behind.
And push you up to 4th grade. And the reason why that matters is because that's how the schools are getting funded.
Correct.
Per George Bush back in the day. And so they either look the other way and they push you through to the 4th grade, or they say, you know what, you can't read, I'm going to hold you back.
Right.
And so when they say I'm going to hold you back, now it's up to the parents to say, you know what, you're right, we see what you see, we're fine with it. Right. Or the parents are going to say, you're not going to hold my baby back. My baby can read just fine. Maybe you just don't know that he can read that fine, you know. So it's definitely, the solution is definitely multi-pronged. Parents have to do their part. Teachers have to do their part. But I think it's really the fact that kids are just getting pushed through. And like I said, if you can't read at the 3rd grade, your teacher's not going over that with you at 4th, 5th, 6th, grade and beyond.
They said they took away
phonics.
Yes, they say that's a big problem too.
It is a big problem because the way that they teach kids to read now is with something called sight words.
What's the difference between phonics and sight words? Like,
sure. So sight words is basically memorization. It's basically when you see the same words over and over, you know what they look like.
Right.
Which is actually a thing, right? Because have you ever been on social media and seen one of those things where they'll write a sentence and it's not really actually spelled correctly? They'll like leave out a letter, but you can look at it and you know what it says.
Yes.
Because your brain makes this association with words that it's seen before.
Yes.
So if you have a sentence and you just take out one letter, right? Or you take the last letter and you put it first, and you put the first letter and you put it last,
right.
A lot of us can read it. You got those funny memes that have like it's a long acronym of a.
And you like, if you
and
black,
if
you
you're
can.
black, can you decipher this?
Yeah.
And you're like, get your ass in the house right now before I beat your ass. How did you know that?
Right.
Because your brain made a memory association.
Mm-hmm.
So phonics is knowing the letters, how they sound, sounding out words.
Vowels.
Yep. So it means that even when you see a word you've never seen before that you don't recognize, you can still figure it out.
Right.
Whereas sight memorization, if you've never seen the word before and you don't know phonics, then what? What are we doing now? And so that's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
When my kid was growing up, they still were teaching phonics. They were just actually transitioning out of teaching phonics, but I was teaching him phonics at home because
Right.
I knew that memorization is impossible. You're not going to see every word, especially
Yeah.
if you're not like an avid
Avid
reader
reader, yeah.
that's reading all the time. And most of our kids are not avid readers now because everybody's on their iPad, phone,
Right. TikTok.
TV, TikTok. I
Instagram.
mean, rarely are people, and even when it comes to books, people are on Audible, Amazon, audiobooks. They're listening to books. Like, how
Right.
many people are really, especially kids, really picking up and reading books? Even in the classrooms, they have tablets and computers, like
Correct.
straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So I think the parents are just as responsible as the educators. I think that education, how it's funded, I say this every show, needs a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
You can't tell schools, hey, if your kids aren't passing, then we're not going to give you your funding. They're going to pass the kids even if the kids aren't passing.
Right.
Who wants to lose their job?
Right.
Like, who wants to lose their job, though, right?
Nobody, right.
And so that's why you have this perpetuation of underfunded schools turning out undereducated kids and so on and so forth, and private schools and charter schools and districts. And if your kid gets registered in a good school district and you don't live there, you could go to jail for 5 years. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a big underhanded system at play that's trying to make sure. And I think that overall, America doesn't really necessarily care about the education. They care about being a global superpower. So as long as we have the strongest military, in their mind, we don't need to have the strongest schools. Because if you have strong schools, then you can't even have a strong military. Because when you have strong schools, people are going to come out smart, educated, starting
Yeah.
jobs, having
Yeah.
good businesses, having good jobs. And then why do I need to enlist in the military if I can make $80,000 a year and pay for my own health
As
care
a
and all that?
welder, or I come out and do this. Yeah, I'm a.
Yeah,
They
so-
would probably they probably losing a lot of people to the. Yeah.
We have to keep a certain population of uneducated people so that they can fill up the prisons and military. Sorry,
God.
I know that's really bad, and I
Damn,
know it's
that
really
hurt.
controversial, but this system is
Oh.
by design. And so if you care about your kids personally, you cannot and should not wait for schools to 100% teach your kids how to read.
That I mean, that just hurts so bad to even think about. Like, and you can't even debate that you're wrong. Like, there's no debate. Like, because they build prisons based off of what you say, third grade, fourth grade reading scores.
Yep.
They can literally predict and say, well, if 100 of these kids can't read, 12 of them gonna be in prison.
And I think it's laughable that they test them at the 4th grade and 8th grade. Why are you testing them at 4th grade? Test them at 3rd grade. Test them at 2nd grade, matter of fact.
Yeah.
So that if they're not where they need to be, you can bring them where they need to be by 3rd grade, knowing that reading is still part of the curriculum. But instead, you want to get them where they're out of the reading curriculum, and then at the 4th grade, test them. And then at the 4th grade, if you test them and they can't read, then what are we doing?
Yeah, because even like if they test you in middle school and you can't read, they
It's
still
too
send you
late.
to high school. So it's like, well, what you even testing for?
It's too late.
You're not testing for education. You're testing for something outside of education because it don't even make sense for you to. It's like you're testing. It's like testing your oil. I'm gonna go see where my oil at in my car, and no matter what, I'm gonna drive it. Like, what if it ain't no oil in
What's
there?
the point in testing it?
I just get in the car. I mean, like it ain't no point. Like, if something is wrong and I know something is wrong, I'ma still drive my car if it even cuts on or whatever. But yeah, that's a tough
I mean,
one.
work with your kids, man. Teach them how to read early on at home. Work with them in the summer. I know as parents, like we're all working 1, 2, 3 jobs. We're super
I went
busy.
to summer school
but
every year from preschool, first grade, all the way up to at least 6th grade. I don't remember middle school, but like they used to send us home with this huge packet, and you could either come to school and work with like tutors and teachers, and they'll help you. Some people had to go because their grades were bad. They couldn't read. They couldn't, whatever. I just always wanted to go. For one, I lived across the street from my school, so that was good. I really enjoyed school. And two, my grandma had. I was raised by my grandma. She had a rule that you can't go outside, you can't play the game, you can't do anything fun that you would want to do until 12 o'clock, no matter what day it is.
Right.
So it's the summer in July, like at 10:30, I couldn't just be outside.
Right. My pops
So
was the same way.
the program was from like 9 to 1. I'm like, I might as well go to school. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't play the game. I can't do nothing. I mean, I used to read books and stuff like that, but I'm just like, okay, I might as well just go to school and read, and at least I could be there with some friends or whatever. So from at least first grade to sixth grade, I went to summer school every year, and I was a straight A student.
I bet.
Like, I never got under, like, in middle school, elementary. Like, I never got like a 1.0, 2.0. Like, man, I was 3.6, 3.5, but I definitely used to get what's that score with, like, your behavior?
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
my behavior was like, yeah, I used to talk too much. I mean, I'm getting paid to talk now, so
Ain't it a blessing? Won't he do it?
right. So I mean, it's hard, man, because kids are a reflection of their parents, and a lot of these kids, you go there. I don't know if you ever substitute teach, but I did that like throughout college or whatever. Once you get like I think like your third year in college, they allow you to substitute teach, and it's the hardest shit I ever did in my life.
It
I
is.
haven't I haven't cried as an adult, like as a man, as a male adult, in the last 10 years. I probably can count on my hand how many times I cried, and I cried like a fucking baby after working at this program. It was a program in Saginaw, Michigan. I went to school at Saginaw Valley, which is an hour and a half north of Detroit. So they had this after school program where they were paying kids in order to come to the program so they can learn how to read, so they can learn how to write, because they were going, these kids were going into high school and they were about to do that test. So they were seventh grade going to eighth grade. They would have to have that test. And then, then they go to high school. So this after school program, we supposed to help them learn how to read, learn how to write. They paying them like $400 a week. And this is for 6 weeks. So this is like $400 a week. That turns into real money for the parents. So a lot of parents push their kids to go so they can get this check. This little boy, man, his name is like Aaron or something like that. He was so quiet. He was just like the chillest one. He did all his work. One day he started, he just came to school. He started crying, putting his head down. So I don't know, he was going through some stuff at home. And the other popular kids came over there, started messing with him. He flipped out. I'm talking about he flipped over all the chairs. He started throwing chairs. He started throwing everybody's cell phone. He started throwing books. He started doing everything. And I was like, oh my God, what do you do? And I'm just like getting people to move him out the way because he's literally throwing chairs.
Yeah, you can't do
I
anything.
can't do anything. So he get into a fight with this guy. They wrestling. We run and break it up. They go get his mom. His mom was like, she didn't work at the school, but she like volunteered. You know how people be. His mom came up there. Was like, Aaron, come on, Aaron, come on. And at this point, I'm good. I'm an adult. I'm trying to manage the situation. This the part that made me. I just broke down after the situation when I went to my car. His mama came. For one, he was choking the boy. He would not get off of him. I was the only one that could get him off. I was like, Aaron, like, it's James. And he was like, Mr. James, and he was like, he took my stuff. I was like, I got it. Come on, Aaron. Got him, put him in the back. Like, he only listened to me. This is why this was so close to me. When his mama came, he said, come on, Aaron. He said, BF you. You only got me in this program because you trying to get that $400. Because you trying to do this and you going to the club and you spending all my money. We struggling to eat. I be having to steal lunches to bring home to my little sister. I was just like, oh my God. And he just pouring his heart out. He never talked the whole program. Like, he didn't talk. He's pouring his heart out, throwing, and you can tell it's true based on her reactions. If it wasn't true, you like, boy, you better get your. She was over there, just come on, Aaron. Why you telling everybody? Man, that shit, man, that really messed me up because the police had to come get him because he was flipping out so bad. And then I just think like, man, this is the prison.
There it is, right in front of your face.
It's right
happening.
in my face, bro. Like all of these kids, y'all can't read. Y'all in this program. Y'all parents are poor. You can't manage your emotions. You flipping out. You could have hit somebody with one of those chairs, killed them, and you're done. Like, man, I went to my car, man, and like I ain't cried in so long, man. I just shit. My whole shirt was just like,
Yeah, that's so sad. Like, there's so many parents that are just having kids and just don't really have the ability to raise them financially, mentally, emotionally. So many single parent homes. Teachers are struggling. I have friends who are teachers. They make no money. No money. Okay? Like, my friend that's been a
like
teacher
what, 50,000, 60?
less. So like the paraprofessionals that come out that are like the teacher's assistants,
Yes.
they're making like 30,000, under 30,000. Then if you're an actual teacher, 40,000. I know a teacher that's been a teacher for 20 years. She makes like 80,000. She has a PhD. 80,000 after 20 years. You know what I mean? At a job, and you have a PhD too.
Yeah.
So I mean, the teachers aren't getting paid. They're so underpaid. They're so overworked. They're so emotionally taxed. Like, I feel really, really, really bad for our educators. I really do. They're not compensated in a manner that reflects that this country, like, values education.
Yeah, we can't really value education, and it just goes back to what you said, the prison pipeline and the military pipeline. It's like we need unskilled labor and unskilled workers, so we need somebody at the bottom so we could, keep the top
Yeah.
fluffed up.
Elon Musk's mom said that recently in an interview.
Oh, I didn't see that. You definitely got to send that over to me, because that's that's good content. That's gonna go viral. Are you? Well, you did say you like football. And you watch football. Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I seen
Are you
his.
familiar with what his mom said?
Yes, I seen her popping her shit online.
Now this was said on like an Amazon interview when she just basically doing an interview, and they asked her what was the biggest thing you worried about on Jayden Daniels' career. Being his mom, and that's his actual agent as well. I don't know if you knew that, but he said girls. I mean, she said girls. Like,
Right.
some girl, putting that thing on them and just making them,
The money.
Yeah, just make, gold digging.
She don't want her son's money to be gone.
Right. No, it was divided because, for you got those people who love LeVar Ball and how involved he was in his kid's life, and they like, I love this that moms are stepping up and now they're their agents. They're making sure they're not getting ripped off. They're raising their kids. And then there was a whole bunch of women on there saying, mama's boy, girl, let that man, he's a grown man, let that man get some, And then when he beat the Lions, unfortunately, right, I was hurt. It was trending on Twitter because they were saying, like, is his mama going to let him get some now that he didn't won? And he a rookie, and he's the best rookie, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year. So what's your thoughts on that? Like, is she being a helicopter mom, or she got a case? Like, she legit?
It's a little bit much. I mean, there's going to be a whole different vibe and narrative with the Ball family versus her, because
Men
the
versus
dad,
women.
he gonna tell him, hey, you got all the money now, son, go do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Obviously, he ain't gonna tell them to lose all their money to
But he told him the
scallywags.
same thing, though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He told him the same thing.
It's your son. You got to give him advice, and then he's got to do what he wants to do. But like all that overbearingness as a mom, I'm not really with that. I'm a mom. I'm a boy mom. I ain't about to be all overbearing on my son's relationships. No, because honestly, sometimes you need to learn lessons.
So if your son getting played, you wouldn't like step in and give him some game? Like, nah, you like on women, you wouldn't step in and give him some game?
Not really unsolicited.
You
If
wouldn't do that? Unsolicited?
Nah. If it was real bad, right?
Okay, like his life in danger or something, that's different. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like,
Nah.
let's say your son is getting cheated on and getting dogged out. And it's clear as day because you're a woman, you done seen it, you can see it from around the corner. But he like paying all her bills, like he like really stepping up trying to be that guy, and like she playing him. Like you wouldn't just let him get played?
I would let him get played. There's nothing I can do. That's not my man. That's my son. So I would tell him. I would be like, hey, this is what I see, this is what I'm observing. You know, at the end of the day, it's your
Well,
life.
so I mean, yeah. So you saying you would say something?
Like
If
I
you would
said,
say that, you would say something.
if it was bad, I would say something. If I saw that my son's mental health was in jeopardy, then I
Okay,
would say
yeah.
something. But if my son was just
I mean,
exhibiting trick behavior,
well,
then I mean, if you want to be a trick, you got to be a trick. I can't stop him.
but I
You
feel
got to
like he's
raise
not
him
being a
not to
trick
be
in that point.
in the
He's
first
like just
place.
getting played though. He's not being a trick.
Yeah,
He think
but
he in a committed relationship. Like
yeah,
he
I
think
mean, he might have to learn on his own. We can't like stop our kids' mistakes, even if they are adults.
I might have to put my homie or my daughter. I might have to put her on to some game. Like, hey, you need to watch out for cause like
Yeah, I mean, I put my son on the game ahead of time. So if he's not taking the
if he ain't
game,
taking the game.
then that means that he's gonna have to learn by getting knocked upside his head a little bit. Sometimes that's the best lesson.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like you will open up a can of worms when you do that.
They're gonna go dig their
Like,
heels into whatever it is that you're telling them don't do.
yeah, and
Obviously, this guy, Jayden, and his mom probably have a decent relationship already if he already was willing to make her his manager, you know?
yeah.
So
His
for
agent,
him,
yeah.
maybe she's not being overbearing.
Well, maybe he's just so used to it. I mean, my mom's been doing this since I was 8. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
And this is just my mom. You know, you can have some. Your parents can have some weird relationships with you, and it's like, well, that's just my dad. Like other people, are like, man, he's so strict, or he this or that, and you like don't notice it because it's your dad or your uncle or somebody that's always been around.
Yeah.
I mean, based off of what I got from what she was saying, I don't think it was overbearing. However, if she's like vetting all the girls he's dating, okay,
That's a
now
problem.
that's a bit much.
That's what I'm
That's a
saying
bit
is
much.
like if her stance is there's going to be a lot of women who are going to be after you for your money and don't have a good intention, I think that's perfectly solid advice. But if she's the type that even when he does get a woman and he does like
And she
her,
like,
then
you
she's
know,
like, oh, she's like this and that or whatever.
trying to
So
read it, yeah.
if she's doing more than that, then that might be concerning. But overall, I mean, you know, we're parents. It's our job to give our kids advice, but you can't drill it down their throat. So
Did you see the Detroit rapper who's suing Lyft? Did you see that?
I did.
Oh my God! You know
Who
she's
is
like,
taking on the case? That's
it's some, there's some lawyers. You know, lawyers will take on anything against $1 billion company.
right, but
Lyft, they might settle for a couple $100,000.
don't they gotta feel like they have a case to take the case?
I
Though?
mean, they do have a case.
Do they?
They have a case enough to file the lawsuit, not to win. So okay in law.
Do you want to bring people up to speed in case they haven't heard about
Yes.
it?
Okay, so a Detroit rapper, her name is Dank DeMoss. She goes viral all the time for her raps, but really what she goes viral for is because she's extremely overweight. And I'm not trying to be funny or whatever, but she's like
yeah.
400. I think she started out like 500 pounds, and like she, people was talking stuff about her, so she went on like a weight loss thing and lost a few pounds. But she only lost like 20 pounds. So I think she like 485 pounds. And she's tall, she's huge, and she called a Lyft. Now you just put regular Lyft, right? She called a Lyft, and you can do the Lyft XL or Uber XL or whatever. She just did the regular Lyft because it's cheaper, right? He pulls up in a Hyundai Elantra. So for the people who don't understand, I mean, for who don't know, like what a Hyundai Elantra look like it's not the smallest car in their lineup, but it's like the second. It's like the second smallest car in their lineup.
It may not fit you if you weigh 400 pounds.
Correct. And
Right.
even if you can physically fit in the back, it's about the shocks in the back. So now you dragging, you got all this weight on one side. So like now you're dragging the shocks, and then people, them Lyft drivers, their cars really don't be A1 anyway. So he pulls up, and he like, oh, I'm sorry, you have to cancel. Like you have to cancel, and she like, why? He like I can't. You can't get in. Like you can't get in the car. And she's like, what do you mean? Then she started recording. What do you mean I can't get in? He's like, ma'am, like you need to call an XL. Like I can't fit you in my car. And she was like, yes, you can. I can fit it in cars smaller than this. Like I can fit in your car. Are you saying you're gonna cancel? You're not gonna do this? And he's like, ma'am, like I can't have you in my car. And pretty much she she went and found some lawyers who's gonna sue. So I mean, you can sue for anything.
It's odd to me. Lyft drivers cancel on me all the time for less.
I mean, they have, but nobody's never canceled on you and said like you can't fit, or
No.
like for a reason physically that's they never canceled on you for something that is very specific to you as an individual.
Right.
Something about your characteristic they're canceled on. So I'm not saying they're gonna win, but they have enough to at least file and it don't come off as negligent as a lawyer, because a lawyer,
Okay.
you can't just file something just so frivolous that you don't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough to file the paperwork.
Well, I'm going to have to follow that story closely because I'm
And
very curious.
I mean, in hopes of a billion-dollar company, public company like Lyft, they don't want to go to trial with this. So now they're like,
I mean, they already took it public, so that's about as much as they can do.
yeah, and
So
then they might be like, huh, here
if-
goes 25,
if
30,000.
Lyft doesn't feel a harsh enough backlash from the press, I don't think it's going to continue to be a trending story that's headlining every day. So I'll be curious to see what happens with it.
I mean, it's going to trend for sure if it go to trial. But I mean,
I can't see
but
it going to
again,
trial.
Lyft, they can just pay her 25,000, 30,000, just say, huh, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not even worth us paying our lawyers to defend
Now
this.
that they could do.
They could do that. But then guess what? The lawyers get 33% of that. So now you went viral and you made $10,000. A lawyer would take that all day.
I guess so, and you kind of embarrassed yourself too. But all right, you got it though. Yikes!
And the problem with
I don't
that
even
is,
want to say the wrong thing.
the problem with that is if they actually get a settlement, now it's going to be a whole flock of big people.
Fuck them.
You know,
Fuck Lyft. Fuck Uber. Fuck all of them. All the terrible ass stuff that happens with their apps, man. I ain't about to lose no sleep because Lyft is getting sued. Get your coins, girl. I don't even know what her name is. Get your money, girl.
oh no, she definitely gonna try.
Yeah.
Um,
Not mad at her at all.
this is a great story here. Angel Reese says she paid her mom's mortgage off, and she's retiring her. After signing multi-million-dollar deals with brands like McDonald's, brands like Reebok. She got her own signature line that's coming out in 2026. She's killing it. She's obviously in the WNBA, even though they only paying her 75 grand a year.
I was about to say, shout out to the endorsements and sponsors because Lord knows they do not pay those women in the WNBA.
Yeah,
Nothing.
they're not paying them nothing. But I mean, there's an argument: can they really pay them if their product is losing money every year?
Yeah, but they're not doing anything to make their product make money. You already know how.
I feel like they are now. They're trying to market it, but I mean, I feel like some of the women are getting in their own way of marketing the sport.
Yeah, but the players are having to do that.
Well, no, I'm saying they're getting in their own way.
Oh, they're getting in their own way. Okay,
I feel
sorry,
like even
didn't
like
hear that.
Angel Reese kind of get in her own way sometimes when she complain about like how famous she is. Like you know what I'm saying? Like she complain about like how people talk shit about that she missed her layups or like they be chewing her up.
I guess is that a woman thing? Oh Lord, I don't want to say it's us being emotional, but maybe
yes,
it is.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Y'all being emotional and business is not emotional. Like for the sport to be good, I gotta be able to say, LeBron, what the fuck, you idiot? Like I gotta be able to say that and not get called out for that. Like that's actual sports language. Now we're not gonna be in a meeting. I call you an idiot, but like you should be able to like when J.R. Smith missed the game-winning free throw, I should be able to cuss you out.
Yeah, I mean those guys sometimes they go up in the stands and punch the fans, punch the shit out of them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, and do all crazy stuff too because they. But I think in those senses the fans do be like throwing stuff at them, and you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
getting in the way of their physical harm. But so everybody has a breaking point. But I totally hear what you're saying. Gosh, I hate that for us as female athletes.
Well, but I think the sport is growing. Shout out to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You know the racial thing because it's a black woman versus a white girl, and the black woman actually beat her and bragged about it, and you know a lot of people hated that, but a lot of people loved Angel. So people love and hate her, which is how you make money.
Yep.
Which is why she's able to retire her mom. So Angel, if you ever see this, like. People gonna love you or hate you, bro. Like you have to you
Don't let the criticism get the
in
best
order
of
to
you.
make money, you have to be hated though.
Yeah.
Like you think about the people. People hate Obama. People hate Trump. Like
Hmm.
people hate Donald Trump,
Hmm.
and that's a part of the reason why he's the president. People hate Elon Musk. People hate Jeff Bezos. But like on the flip side of hate is love, and that's where the coins are at.
Infatuation, yeah.
So Angel, you got to get to the bag, man. Um, this was one that you brought to me, the Gen Z grads. You wanna go on that one?
Yeah, so according to recent studies, 1 in 7 hiring managers will not be hiring Gen Z candidates. Apparently, they've been firing Gen Z recent graduates. They've been firing them at an all-time high rate, citing these issues: lack of initiative, unprofessional behavior, frequent lateness, disorganization, poor communication, and they're struggling to manage their workload properly.
Mm.
I want to give a big shout out and kudos to Gen Z for standing on business.
Yeah. So in
You
so
know,
many words, they don't want to be overworked.
they're done with being part of the slave generation. Like they're not here to be micromanaged, overworked, overrun with mundane tasks that could easily be avoided. Um, yeah, like, and that's not to say you don't need to be professional. You need to be professional. You need to do your job. You need to be cognizant of the fact that you're representing whatever company you're working for, like all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that there's such a big gap between what corporate America is used to in terms of like using and abusing their workforce,
Right.
and where Gen Z is at with it.
Hmm.
So I like what they're doing. I
Will
think
you
that
be
they should.
hiring any Gen Z
You
with that
know,
attitude?
I don't think that all Gen Z have that attitude, but I do think that enough of them have that attitude to where it will change the work culture a little bit. I hope. I don't know.
Well, I think in the wake of automation and artificial intelligence and just technology in general, there's probably no real needs to work 40 hours. Like, and that's what a lot of Gen Zs are probably saying. Like, really and truly, for my job and the low wages I'm being paid,
Mhm.
40 grand,
Mhm.
30,000, 50,000, whatever. A lot of Gen Z can get that done in like 32 hours, 30 hours of real deep work, hard work. The company can be profitable, and like they can just go off and be TikTokers or be Instagram influencers and
Mhm.
live a balanced life. But
Or live with their parents and get taken care of into older age, because that's
right,
happening.
and it's real hard to tell somebody that they need to come in and work hard for this 40 grand, doing this backbreaking labor or labor that is so mentally taxing, and not necessarily mentally taxing because it's very hard. It's just so mundane and like, you can download an app and
Yeah.
connect some type of artificial intelligence and APIs on the back end, and it does your job for you.
Mhm.
And now you're sitting there like, I got 6 more hours at work. I mean, I did what I said I was gonna do. So a
And the
lot of
money that they're making isn't affording them the ability to buy a home
And
and
then they
buy.
see all the lifestyle marketing online. So now they like, well, I want to be like Kai Cenat. I want to be like this guy. Why don't he make 100 grand a stream?
Nah, they're making 50,000. They can't even afford to buy a house. They got a roommate, or they making 50,000, but they still living at home. Like Gen Z has it so much tougher than previous generations in terms of inflation, cost of living, affordability of housing. I feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's real hard when a job is offering you 40 grand, but then you look at the house or the neighborhood you want to stay in, and like they like, well, you need 3 times the rent.
17, 1,800 for the one bedroom apartment. Then you need to make 3 times that to get qualified to rent.
How is that even? I don't like. That's just one of that's one of the craziest standards or policies I have ever heard of. The idea of somebody making 3 times the rent, and the people who doing their paperwork don't make 3 times the rent
Right.
is ridiculous, and it's crazy because I'm trying to think of if all the apartments I ever had. I know in college I didn't make 3 times the rent, but when I was a banker, I did make 3 times the rent. Um, Now, obviously I make 3 times the rent, But when I first started my business, I did not make 3 times the rent. Like I shouldn't have been in that apartment that I was in, but like that was the apartment that I can budget. It was in the hood in Decatur. Like I can't go no lower than that. I mean, where am I go? So the idea of 3 times the rent, especially now with inflation and eggs $9, like I don't understand how anybody can live with 3 times the rent and minimum wage $7. Like
And when you can, it doesn't motivate you to go to work and give it your all.
facts. It motivated me to go to work, do 22 hours out
Yeah.
of 40, and call it quits. Now, Mr. Donald Trump, $25 million from Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. I think this is the new way politicians are going to start getting paid, because it's a lot of politicians suing for defamation, suing for misinformation, suing for this and that. And with Trump is setting a precedent that you can sue, and if you're the president, who wants to be civil suing the president? Because then he gonna get the company to investigate you and all of this. It's gonna cost you so
He
much
has
more.
all the
All
resources
the
at his
resources
fingertips.
and power, because
Yep.
it's all funded by the American people. You're not going to beat the feds.
Yep.
So he just settled a lawsuit for the January 6 riots that occurred in 2020 when he lost to Joe Biden, and he incited, quote unquote, allegedly, a riot on the Capitol. Everybody stormed the Capitol. He just pardoned all of them, by the way.
Yeah, literally, like I think 186 people that participated in the insurrection all got.
I mean, no, it was more than that.
Was it like 1,800 or something?
Yeah,
it was like
it was about
1,800. Yeah, he
1,800.
pardoned all of them with one signature.
Yep, pardon all of them.
Gotta love that though for them. You gotta love you gotta love that for them, that they got a leader who in the end. I feel like Democrat. Yeah, I feel like sometimes people ride for the Democrats and then they don't even do what they said.
They don't get nothing. So at least he stood on business for him.
Yeah.
But Meta settled this lawsuit for $25 million for banning his Instagram and his Facebook accounts after that January 6th insurrection. So when you see that headline, what do you think?
I didn't think what you told me.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was just Donald Trump, being a prick and trying to, prove a point now that he,
Right.
he knew he was running for president, and I believe that he thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
So I think this is him trying to circle the block for anybody that he felt like had him fucked up on the front end. That's what I thought it was. I really didn't look at it at a deeper level of that this might be some kind of funding.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, it's a lot of these media companies. ABC just settled with Donald Trump for $15 million. 60 Minutes is about to do a groundbreaking settlement because of the election interference, allegedly, from a Kamala Harris interview that they edited and re-edited and never put out the actual footage of the real footage, because Kamala Harris' answer on Gaza versus Israel was not up to par to run ads. And they're 60 Minutes. They're supposed to be interviewing both sides, and they're supposed to be fair, quote unquote. And what they did for her, if it's true, we don't know if it's true. They settled. They're trying to get the numbers right, but they've already conceded that they're going to pay him a multi-8-figure deal, probably 9, for settling that. And they did that all for Kamala, and she lost. So if she would have won, they wouldn't have had no case. She got the DOJ. She got all these people. They're going to slap down Donald Trump's claim.
So they're just going with who's.
He filed all these lawsuits, and because he won, now he's getting all these settlements, and they're, quote unquote, donating to his inauguration fund or donating to his library. Man, they greasing that man pockets. Just like Amazon, they just gave his wife a $40 million documentary. They greasing Trump palms. I ain't mad at him. You got the money. But come on, bro. All these settlements is just, I see right through it. And I mean, I'm a capitalist, so I'm with it.
No, that's
with the money.
That's why I like you though, because you always follow the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with the money. But let's not let's not start a trend on that because then it. I want to believe in the legal system. Come on, man. Y'all being too out. At least be under the table. Y'all being too y'all being too out. Y'all being too out there. Y'all showing y'all true colors a little bit too much for me. It's making me uncomfortable.
I don't even know if everybody is hip the way that you are, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I be studying this stuff because I'm really into law. I'm really into media. I'm really into narratives and.
Okay. Well, I got something for you next week then.
Okay.
All
All right,
right.
man. That's a wrap. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Um, if you're listening via audio, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you leave a 5 star. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Share this out to somebody who needs to hear a different perspective on trending news, finance, business, entrepreneurship, and just overall a great conversation.
And
Peace.
leave us some feedback, please. We read the comments and we like the feedback.
We
So.
definitely read the comments and I read all the DMs. So I hear the feedback. We executing. Peace.